When you're homeless, you just feel like the world's telling you you're nothing. And it's almost like you go unseen by everyone around you. So to me, that's the biggest struggle of being homeless, is not the external stuff, you know, how am I gonna eat? It created this deep self-hatred and this very low self-esteem. You know, there was one time when we were living in our car and my mum turned and said to me from the front seat, you know, don't let where we are now determine where you end up. You know, and just because we have nothing doesn't mean you can't have an impact on the world around you. I'm Zach Bryars, I'm 29 years old. I'm a youth outreach worker for Youth Care Canberra.
So when Zach and I met, Zach was 18 and I was 19. I think the thing that drew me to Zach was really his smile. He told me that he was a sponsored surfer. Little did I know that he actually meant that he was sponsored by Centrelink at the time. I think over the past 10 years, he's just slowly, I've learned more and more about his past and where he's come from.
You know, we had a lot of struggles growing up, me and my mum, you know, homelessness, domestic violence, hanging around people who committing crimes. I left home at 15 and became homeless there for about a year, couch surfing, living on the streets, you know, doing what I could to survive. Everything's going bad around you, so you make bad decisions because it's almost like a confirmation bias. Stealing, robbing, whatever I could to get $4 or $5 to go to the IGA to get some chips and a cola for that day. You know, I met Megan and she kind of was that motivating force, you know, someone who believed in me.
So when Zach and I first met, he was unemployed. He said that he always wanted to join the army. I thought it was going to be the best move for him coming out of homelessness.
People always tell me I was going to be nothing, and to join the army was my way to kind of hopefully prove to them that I was at least something.
Get outside the wall!
So I was deployed to Afghanistan in 2011.
There was a few killed in action before he was deployed, and that was quite unnerving.
Oh, we got rounds coming over. Where the fuck are they coming from?
So I drove Bushmasters and we'd look for IEDs and so try and clear bombs that were planted on the road and try and keep the whole squad safe. Base got attacked in Carib. We were getting rocketed on the Helmand border.
I don't think he realised the trauma that he would go through whilst he was over there.
And I started getting cluster headaches, which are the most excruciating pain I've ever felt. I would get that like 4 times a day for about 4 hours. And they said to me, we're gonna have to send you home. Everyone was there with bullet holes and missing legs and I'm there with a headache. And that was the moment where I thought I was a coward. I'd worked so hard to develop this self-esteem within myself and then it just came crashing back down.
They've got this mateship where no one gets left behind, and he really felt like he was letting the team down.
I was diagnosed with PTSD and was eventually medically discharged from the army.
When it comes down to PTSD, it's an invisible injury. He was quite beaten up through the discharge process by his superior officers, which didn't help his mental state at all.
Leaving the army, I was struggling with just a lot of depression, a lot of anger, and the big thing was the anger. You know, so I started boxing.
He started going to the gym, getting the endorphins pumping, and then I think that's really when it sparked him wanting to go for the Australian team in gridiron in under 18 months.
For years previous to that, my purpose had been Afghanistan. So it was about changing the purpose.
Honestly, I thought his goal was far-fetched. I thought, you've never even picked up a ball, how are you going to go and play for Australia? But he grabbed it by the horns and I've never seen him so determined in his life.
And I was fortunate to be selected in 17 months for the Australian team and went over in 2015 for the Gridiron World Cup. And, you know, walking out in that field, considering where I come from, was surreal to me. I thought back and thought about everything I've been through, and, you know, that's where I realized everything in my life had been a blessing.
Hey boys, what's up? How you going?
You know, I'd always felt that I had some lessons that I wanted to pass on, and I thought, well, what if I could help kids who grow up just like me? So me and Richie work for Youth Care Canberra, so we're youth outreach workers.
So we do various roles. It's mostly engaging homeless or at risk of homeless youth.
What's your guys' dream job?
Like a carpenter or something like that.
What me and Zach give to these kids is being that positive role model, let kids know that they have greatness within them and that they can do whatever they want if they put in the work.
It's very rewarding, and you get to see those who believe that they're worthless realize that they're worthwhile. Did you harness, man? How's life?
My family broke down a couple of years ago, so between the ages of about 12 and 16, I pretty much was homeless.
Well, we usually use rock climbing as a way for people to find their limits.
Yeah, I don't want to start on an angle, man.
And that sets what they can believe is possible for themselves. See, you're good.
Oh, this is the worst part. Okay.
I got you.
I'm terrified of heights, and I can get up these, and like, once I'm done, I'm like, hold up. You know, I've just overcome this barrier, so I can overcome the one that's currently in my life. Yay! Since I met Zach, I'm not couch surfing anymore. I'm working 3 jobs. I've got my own stable accommodation.
And you get to see someone start to believe what you see in them. That was awesome, man.
This is a very superhero kind of thing.
The journey I've been on has been one where I think I'm driven by that dialogue of myself where every morning I wake up and I believe I'm nothing. So I spend the rest of the day trying to prove myself wrong.
I think he really shows that anything's possible, that you aren't defined by your past, that you can make your own future.